I always believed in the sanctity of hard work and commitment. Growing up in a household where loyalty was everything, I carried those values with me into adulthood. As the son of a steel worker and a teacher, I witnessed firsthand the sacrifices my parents made for our family. They taught me that relationships, much like the bridges my father built, required a strong foundation and constant maintenance. When I met Charlene, I thought I had found someone who shared those same principles. We fell in love quickly, moved into a modest home, and began to build a life together. Over time, that life expanded, first with our 2 daughters, and then with the business I poured my soul into. It wasn't always easy, but I never doubted the strength of our bond. At least, I didn't until I started noticing the cracks. I learned, through experience, that supporting her financially was less of a strain than dealing with the alternative. Owning my own company meant alimony was a certainty if she wasn't working. While my daughters were the most important part of my life, the looming financial burden threatened to limit the time I could spend with them. To make matters worse, there was a possibility she could claim half of my business, leaving me to survive on less than a third of my earnings. I left the lawyer's office feeling defeated. As usual, Charlene was already ahead of me. When I caught up to her, she said, "I've been doing this for 8 months and it hasn't hurt us. HEK is a great lover, just different." Then she added, "I don't know who I choose, but think carefully before you act. Go see a lawyer. If we break up, it'll be hell, and I'll make sure of it." I stared at her, trying to process who she had become. This wasn't the woman I had trusted for the past 14 years. I did the right thing for the kids and advised myself to always put them first. When we returned, Charlie had calmed down and claimed her outburst was because of how much she loved me. The officer reiterated the importance of prioritizing the children's well-being and wished us both good luck. Charlie waved at the officer as she left, then turned to me and hissed, "Living room." "Now." She stormed inside, and I seized a chance to lock myself in the house, securing both doors with deadbolts and latches. The new lower door was soundproof, so her screams wouldn't reach me. The girls stayed with me until bedtime, and I reassured them that their mom was fine before they went back to her. Before they returned, I called Charlie and said, "How you treat the girls now could affect your relationship with them later. Think about it." I hung up, and the night went smoothly. Charlie hired a lawyer, and we met in court. The judge, a tired woman in her 40s, asked why I had filed for divorce. I explained that Charlie had been having an affair for 9 months, and when I found out, she refused to end it. I also mentioned that I couldn't expose our daughters to this lifestyle. I had video and audio evidence, legally obtained, to support my claims. The judge turned to Charlie, who hung her head. "You're going to need to make some decisions, Mrs. Sears," she said. "If you want to save your marriage, reflect on your actions. For now, this is just..." I glanced over to see Charlie quietly crying, trying not to wake Marissa. We kissed them both goodnight and sent them home, saying I'd stay there for a while. Everyone, even Charlie, kissed me goodnight as they left. I sat on the couch, wondering if I could ever trust Charlie again. What if she turned on me again? Would I be able to handle another betrayal? Sleep soon took over, and by morning, I was still lying there. I took a shower while they finished a movie. Charlie was making an effort. She cooked my favorite meals and didn't complain when I turned down some of her invitations. Our relationship with the girls was improving, especially when school started and she took them shopping. I gave Marissa one of my cards, and Charlie used it frequently, but she didn't overspend. She was learning to stick to the budget I had set. One day, Charlie asked for a favor. "I've been thinking," she said. "I want to get a job or volunteer. If I do, will you watch the girls?" I hugged her, impressed by her decision. She had also been going to the gym and getting back into her old shape. I supported her progress and even gave her extra money for workout gear and clothes. Charlie started volunteering for a major charity, helping with events like fun runs and galas. For the first few months, The events were mostly on weekends, and I sometimes went with her. As the weather cooled, most of the events moved indoors and became more frequent at night. I still went to some of them, but balancing work with these events was draining. So, I cut back to attending one out of every 3. Charlie seemed frustrated, so I asked, "How would you feel if I dragged you to work with no sleep?" The next morning, she showed us photos from the events, and I didn't. I held up my hand. "I've reached my limit with you." Charlie snapped. "What's your problem?" "Charlie, shut up. Are you listening? If you don't, this deal is off, and I'll make you fight for every penny. You really think that when I married you, I'd end up supporting the woman who destroyed everything?" I continued coldly. "This is on you, and I'm done. Don't talk to me again. If you do, talk to my lawyer. The girls will tell me if they need anything." She cried again, but I was firm. "The divorce is happening. Before the ink's dry, I'll be moving on. The girls need a good role model, not you. Go ruin some other marriage. When you're done, send the wrecked women to me, and I'll try to fix them. Maybe they can start a support group. I've got plenty of experience." "Goodbye, Charlie," I said, and left without even closing the door. The girls hated the situation. I tried to shield them from it, but eventually they found out. They didn't see Charlie for 3 weeks until I convinced them to spend the weekend away. "She's still your mother. She loves you. I'm sure not seeing you is hurting her. It's going to be tough, but do it for the family." Darcy, looking older than her 11 years, sighed. "We'll go. But you're wrong, Papa. She betrayed us. We'll never have the same family again." She hugged me tightly before walking away. "Love you, Daddy. When did kids get so wise and world-weary? I might need therapy for all of us." It took 11 months and cost Charlie $600,000 before she finally gave up. She asked for 1 hour before signing the papers, so I called her. "What could you say that would make a difference? If you're sorry, I accept your apology. Otherwise, sign the papers. I'm done with the drama." I was driving the support truck, loaded with gear. Cheyenne said it would take 4 hours to get there, but it would be worth it. We were completely isolated, with the bathhouse 30 minutes away. If anyone needed to go sooner, they'd have to imitate a bear. Cheyenne took charge, and before long, tents appeared. I was told to store the food in bear-proof containers, which didn't exactly reassure me. The coolers were locked in the cars, and Cheyenne sprayed bear repellent around the tents and vehicles. Then I assembled the grill. By lunchtime, everything was ready, and the girls were giggling while putting on swimsuits. I drove back to the marina, got the keys for a huge pontoon boat, and had an hour-long briefing. It was designed for 18 adults, so 9 girls and 2 adults wouldn't be a problem. The next morning, Cheyenne took over breakfast duties, leaving me to chop vegetables for an omelet. She made amazing pancakes with buckwheat flour and fresh blueberries. After breakfast, we all helped clean up, and Cheyenne took the girls fishing. The lake had lots of small bream, so everyone caught something. We took photos, and the girls joked about shopping for gear. Soon after, we lazed around before heading back to the marina for lunch. The girls wore sneakers over their swimsuits, thinking we were going to a restaurant. Oddly, the place served Italian food, and we shared spaghetti, ravioli, and meatballs. Afterward, we admired the boats at the pier. The girls squealed when they realized the big boat was for them, but groaned when Cheyenne made them put on life jackets. "We have a student driver," Cheyenne joked. "Better safe than sorry." We set off slowly, and I heard Cheyenne laughing.